Show has been a mess.
Been disgusting, but it's been great.
An absolute mess from the moment we walked through the door.
Kendrick was on Power. Is what they were saying.
Power, okay. I knew he was on one of them shows. He was like a homeless guy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
little crackhead on 50.
Yeah,
I remember that.
killed the crackhead role. Nice job. Nice job. We're here with our man Jason Jones of The Athletic. Jay, we just got the injury report for the Toronto Raptors tomorrow. The whole roster is out against the Sacramento Kings. And now Kings fans are scared to death.
they should be.
Do not feel good about this.
Yeah, you hear you got 4, 5, 7, 8 guys injured. Yeah, that's the recipe for disaster. That's a 15-point loss.
Have you you're a busy man, you've been watching some stuff. I want to hear more about the piece you did on Howard going into the tournament. But have you paid attention to Keon Ellis specifically with the Kings? I always thought he was pretty good, as of the last month, this last time around he started to play. But last night I saw what he did to Desmond Bane, had him in hell. And I think Keon Ellis, you'll enjoy this. I feel like Keon Ellis could be like Caruso was. Like,
hey.
Man, I'm saying,
hey, let's not get carried away now. Let's not get carried away.
The way Keon out there playing
Let's
defense,
not get
I'm like, he
carried
could be
away
an all
now.
defense guy.
That's the point, guy. Let's dial it back a little now. Let's dial it back a lot, as a matter of fact. See, I was with you. Then you said, Caruso. Come on now. If you'd have said, I don't know, not Caruso. No, we can't. He's got to earn that. He ain't done enough to be in the Caruso class.
Mr. 4 first-round picks to acquire Alex Caruso from Chicago.
Right. You're not going. Monty McNair is not going to can't get 4 first-round picks for Keon Ellis. Come on now, let's be real.
But yeah, he's been, for me at least, he's been a revelation on the defensive end. I was a little worried about whether he'd be able to guard bigger shooting guards, and it's still a concern. It's not like he's gone up against Paul George a whole lot or anything, so you still want to see those type of things. But man, I love the way he plays on the defensive end. And last night, like I said, he put Desmond Bane in hell last night. He was pinning shots against the backboard, like 5 blocks on the night.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's? I'm not saying all-star, nothing like that, but do you think it's real? Like, is he a real player, a real rotational guy in this league to you?
I mean, he's starting to look like one. I mean, you probably need a larger sample size, but I think what he brings is such a glaring thing that the Kings have missed. It probably, it probably looks even like 20 times better because it's just so different from what we've seen from that position defensively for so many years. So it wasn't just the last couple of years. That's been a hole defensively for a long time.
Yeah.
So, and I've always said you can sacrifice a little bit of offense from that position if you get a guy who's going to be a plus defender, just because you got enough guys who can score. So, I mean, especially on this team, he's definitely a rotation guy for sure. It's because of what he brings. It's not just the defense. I mean, that I don't want to say Shea, like Davion wasn't playing defense, but you need length on the wings. You can't be, you need length, you need, athleticism out there, and he's giving them that. So yeah, you can't, you got to love those guys who kind of, get it out the mud, second round undrafted type guys. Work your way up from a 2-way. You gotta like the story, and he plays like a guy who's trying to stay in the league still.
He feels like the exact player that Mike Brown has been looking for.
Yeah,
like he has all the attributes that Mike Brown wants in a player.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been sorely missed. It's been sorely needed. And then if you can, and that can be infectious. You get one guy doing that. Then maybe you get another, you hope that that's kind of just, builds on it, because I mean, over the last, recent games, I like the way the Kings have Jalen Brunson aside, they've had some very, I feel like some real solid defensive efforts.
Yeah. You saw this for a year with Malik Monk. Is he Has he gotten better? Is he better than you even remember him with the Lakers? Is it just, more of an opportunity? Or did you see this coming if he was just given a little bit more of an opportunity?
He showed it with the Lakers. I mean, there were games. He won games for the Lakers. And the Lakers, from everything I read, I understood, they would have loved to have kept him if it went, the CBA, the way the rules are, just didn't, make it possible for him to keep him. But yeah, he showed. I mean, there were games where Malik Monk would go out there, he'd dunk on people, he did all these things. My question became, man, what in the world happened in Charlotte? Because what we're seeing from Malik in Sacramento, he showed in LA. And if I remember he had the game in Sacramento where he had the game winner. But if a lot of times in Charlotte, you would have sworn Malik Monk wasn't even an NBA player the way they talked about him. I mean, and you look at it, he was on his, the Lakers got him for nothing. Like nobody wanted him, it seemed like a couple of years ago. Now that won't be the problem this offseason. So, but yeah, it's. I mean, sometimes he's an example of what happens when you go to a bad situation. You get drafted by a bad situation. Sometimes it's not about your talent; it's where you end up. And sometimes you end up in a terrible spot. And I think as we look back, you look at Charlotte even now. I don't know anybody who you say you get drafted there and you'd be like, oh yeah, good for him. They just haven't shown they can develop or have the consistency around these young guys because they've been in the lottery for the last 20 years. It almost feels like with Charlotte.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it. This is every Kings fan's greatest nightmare. What do you think the offseason looks like for Malik Monk? Like he is playing, like we had the numbers just for the month of March right now. He's at like 21.4 or something like that. It's like 20. I think it was like 21-5, like 21 points, 5 assists in the month of March.
I think the biggest fear is that you get that team that jumps out and kind of I remember going in the free agency a couple of years ago. I remember the Athletic had a whole story about Malik talking about I'll take less money because I like it here. And then the Kings were like, well, we got way more money than they can offer you. And then he was gone. I think you might you could definitely run into that. You find the right team with some cap space that says, you know what, Malik, how you feel about $20 million a year? It could very well happen, and he will have earned it. And someone's going to pay him. If it's not Sacramento, someone's going to pay him very well. People forget how. I mean, Malik's not even old. It just feels like he's old because we've especially like we've always said, these guys become stars so young in high school. You hear we've been hearing that name for almost a decade. But it's not like he's 32 years old.
Isn't he just 25 or 26? I mean, De'Aaron's 25 or 26, right? So
he's So someone is going to pay him very well.
Malik's 26 years old.
Yeah, if you're Sacramento, you want it to be you, but the question then becomes just how much do you pay? Because De'Aaron's going to have that supermax coming up. I forget the rules. I mean, he'll get whatever it is. He'll get a lot of money. You got the bonus locked up.
Well, he could get a lot of money if he makes one more NBA. If he makes an All NBA team this year.
Yeah, and then you still, you still got Keegan on a rookie deal, so you probably have some flexibility to do some things. But even still, all you need is one team to give, not to say that they're the same player, but remember that what Bruce Brown got last offseason. What was it, 2 years, $45 million or something like that? If Bruce Brown can get 2 years, remember Jalen Brunson at the time he got the deal, it looked crazy to a lot of people. He got 4 years and 100. Malik's going to get a nice contract from somebody.
Yeah.
You just don't know, who it's going to be. He's going to get paid. He will not be that guy searching for a minimum deal ever again.
No, that's 22.5 per for those 2 years that Bruce Brown had. That's 4 more than Sacramento can offer.
Yeah.
4 more million than Sacramento can offer.
Yeah, right. Earlier that they can start at 17, the contract can start. So can it go like 17 to 19 to 20?
It goes 17.5, and then I think with the raises in the cap, I think the increase is 8%. And so that's whatever 8% of 17, that's the raise, and then the next raise if it's a 4-year contract.
And like I said, the problem you run into is that what if that one team with a bunch of cap space says, okay, 3 years, 70.
Yeah, and then there the number starts at 22.5,
Right.
and then goes up 8%, and then goes up 8%, and then it becomes okay, it's $4 million. So and then all of a sudden it's a $19 million difference between the two teams. And I don't know how, if you're Malik Monk, you don't take that money.
Especially as a guy, like I said,
needs to take the money.
Like I said, 2-3 years ago, he was on a minimum deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, he may love Sacramento, love playing with De'Aaron, but if someone jumps out there and offers that, how do you say no? Because I'm a big believer in you get your money when you can, because you know it's not like the team is going to be like, you know what, you turned down $10 million. We can, you know, you can't get that money back. I forgot what podcast maybe it was Gilbert Arenas talking about it. He took less money so they could re-sign someone, and the team didn't even re-sign the guy.
Jesus.
He was like, what the hell? It was either him or a teammate took less money and they still didn't go do what they were going to do. So you get your money when you can get it.
Think about what Jason just said. You want to put this into perspective? This is a guest edition here with Jason Jones here with us. Career earnings for Malik Monk. So, Jason, I'm going to tell you, Malik Monk has been in the league 7 years. The most money he's made was actually, it's this year.
This year, yeah.
$9,945,000 is the most Malik has made in his career. 7 seasons for the former number 11 overall pick. Jason Jones, for your first edition of Pocket Watching, you have any guesses on career earnings for Malik Monk?
18. Probably about, let me see. I'm trying to do the head, like the rookie deal. I'd guess 28-30.
Jason Jones is going 28-30.
Wait, no, you can't go 28-30.
I'll say 30. I'll say 30 then.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote that as 28, like 300. Like that's what I wrote the number.
Okay, I'll say 30 now.
30. Okay, we're going 30. Okay, we're going 30. We're going 30. I took that as a specific number. I didn't take.
Oh no, I was trying to go.
Okay, so we're going 30 million. Jason Jones, 30 million.
I'm gonna go.
Kenny Caraway in desperate need of a victory, by the way. 3-6 right now in Pocket Watching.
I'm gonna go 31 million.
Oh, that is such a trash move. Such a trash move.
Yeah.
The number is $36.6 million.
Let's go. I'm up in here. Let's go.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
No, you're literally
You
Mark
should be
McGuire this
ashamed
whole
of
season.
yourself.
No integrity
That
at
was
all.
trash.
Rafael Palmeiro on the stand in front of the judge. I did not take steroids. That's you.
That
right
was
now.
trash. You'll get the victory.
Let's go. 500. Here I come.
Jason Jones in his first fight put up an effort and he
Francis and
trash underhanded tactics here. Get
Now,
Kenny on the board.
To be fair,
but
I was gonna say 34 anyway. What was the number?
it was 36.6. But think about what Jason just said, and think about what we're talking about. In 7 seasons, Malik has made $36.6 million. His next contract is going to eclipse that.
Yeah.
Like he's going to eclipse his career earnings in his next contract.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, like I'm looking at like the Kings' perspective, and I think somebody may offer him more, but it's like I don't know if this is exactly what it is, but it is like 17 million over 4 years. That's $70 million in that one contract.
Yeah.
And that's probably the lowest contract he's gonna get offered. He's gonna eclipse.
Yeah, likely.
Everything's already done.
Yeah. He'll double his net worth in one contract. That's why, obviously I don't want Malik to go anywhere, but I don't blame him.
I don't blame him.
This is the deal.
I don't blame him. I'm gonna be selfish.
Oh yeah, you got to get your money. You got to get your money.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was just trying to figure out who had cap space. I'm not sure who, but
We always center around Orlando.
Yeah.
They've got cap space. It's Florida. They got guys out there like Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs, and they got the front court players already. It feels like with Banchero and Wagner. Maybe they're looking for a dynamic guard to go with those guys.
Or maybe.
But it really ends there, though. It's like them, San Antonio, and as far as somebody that might give like $20 million, it kind of ends there. It's not a lot of cap space.
Did you just name 2 states with no income tax?
Yeah, you did.
Versus California,
right?
Who at minimum is going to take like 50% of what you make.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, man.
And then you never know who a team decides in the offseason. Let's clear some space out to make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Bruce Brown contract. I don't know if it's an option or not for him, but teams can create a trade. Maybe it ends up being a sign and trade. You create a trade exception. I mean, who knows what happens? But yeah, Malik's going to be paid. He's going to more than double that. He's going to double that salary from this year.
Yeah, that's a good call from Jason Jones right there. Team option in 24-25 for Bruce Brown.
Yeah, if you so I could see a team. The team keeps him. Now you've got a big trade number.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen between now and then.
That's why I said they got to do something illegal. Jason Jones is offering to mow Malik's lawn, so
I don't think that's illegal.
Well, all right, then everybody.
The Kings need the Niners accountant. The Kings need the Niners accountant to make.
Well, that's definitely what we need.
Well,
yeah, they need that accountant.
What they want to take a second round pick? Go ahead.
Lose the draft pick later.
Losing a second round pick. I mean, cool. I got the player I wanted, and I don't have to have a guy on my cap that I don't really want anyway. Fine, cool.
Can we defer Malik's money like a Tani, like sign him to $100 million contract? And then defer 80 million of it for like 2 years.
I don't think they'll let you do that. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Only the
make them say you can't.
Yeah, give that a try. Yeah, give that one a try. Be like, yeah. So Adam Silver, here's our structure of this deal. It's a 4-year deal, but he's only going to make $2 million this year, $2 million next year, $2 million, and then all of a sudden we'll be paying Malik. 30 million in like year 5. That's not
There we go. We figured it out.
We did it.
Joe.
We call it the Dodger clause. We're implementing the Shohei clause here, and we're deferring Malik's money till 2030.
Till further notice.
A lump payment with interest. He's going to wind up making $190 million.
Make it some NFL stuff. So can you convert part of the money to a signing bonus?
Yep. Yep. It checks out. It's legal in every other sport.
The most creative contract in NBA history will be from Malik Monk.
We'll do everything we can to keep Malik Monk here.
NCAA tournament getting underway. Let's transition to what you wrote over at The Athletic. Why is it such a big deal that Howard's back in the tournament?
Well, they hadn't been there for 30 years, and then they made it last year. They made it again this year. And like I said, Howard, one of the more well-known HBCUs, it's never been known as a sports team, but their football team had a good season. Now they're back in the tournament. They're coached by a former Duke player, Kenny Blankney, so they're trying to build something, kind of out there. They're in DC. You've got a lot of talent out that way. And from talking to Kenny yesterday, he said that you look at all the programs in the DC area. In the last 3 years, Howard has the most wins out of all of them, more than Georgetown, than Maryland, and George Washington, all those schools. And, especially for a lot of people I know from Howard, a lot of people know Howard from their homecoming. And they get name dropped in songs and whatnot, but they're really trying to really create a basketball, create a program over there. And he's done a good job because, he got that job in 2019. I think he went 4-29 his first year. Then he had the COVID year, and then he had, that whole thing. But then they made the tournament last year, played Kansas. They're probably about to play right now. They got the final, the first 4 game. And if they win, they get North Carolina. Got a lot of good stories on that team. They had a lot of injuries this year. To get to the tourney, they only played basically 6 players, and they finished the game with a walk-on. So they're a real cool story. They got Seth Towns on the team. They got the 8th-year senior who started at Harvard, went to Ohio State, had injuries. He's actually in school working on his PhD. So, he's already got a LinkedIn page, like he's old, it's
it's cool to see, for me to see, a school like Howard and a team like Howard trying to boost their profile and boost their basketball program. I really got hip to what they were doing, which maybe a lot of people feel the same way, and it could really help them moving forward, is that Jordan deal they got, and Jordan seems to really be leaning into, helping build that basketball program up. And I think that's going to be big for them moving forward.
And Steph Curry with the golf team out there.
That's right.
Yeah, so they're starting, like Kenny said, they've grown up out there. No one thought about Howard as a sports school. Like, that was an academic school. They had sports teams, but no one really thought they cared about sports. So now you're starting to see, and like I said, you're in DC. You got a chance to get players.
Mm-hmm.
You can really recruit nationally. And a lot of HBCUs are experiencing that now, just the way the landscape has changed. They've had, Chris Paul does the HBCU showcase, and you had what Deion did at Jackson State, where they've seen their recruiting base expand. When I was in high school back in the day, the only HBCU I'd ever heard of was I'd heard of Howard, Grambling, and Morehouse. That's all I knew, and all I knew was that as a kid from California, I was not trying to live in Mississippi. That's all I knew. I'm like, I'm not living out there, So they've all found, I think Howard was able to. They had, he's hurt right now, but they had a player from Sierra Canyon on their team, so they've been able to kind of really expand kind of their recruiting base, and a lot of the HBCUs are doing that now. And then depending on what state you're in, like Florida, some of those places aren't exactly welcoming to different people anymore. And so now those schools are saying, hey, you can come here. There's NIL money all over the place now.
So I was going to ask you that HBCUs, are they in on the NIL game?
They are, but they're not at they're not going to be like Alabama level. But I know there's a few companies I've written about it that are actively working to get NIL deals with HBCU players. So that could help them as well. But historically, a lot of the HBCUs have been underfunded by the states they're in anyway as well. So there's some historical things that they've had to battle in terms of when people talk about their facilities or this, they don't have this, they don't have that. A lot of this stuff is going to be real systemic racism that has held them back in terms of getting what they should be getting financially. And all you ever hear people say, well, the alums should donate. It's like, come on now. You're going to blame the alums because the state, because Brett Favre can take their money and give it to his school and get his daughter's school a gym. Come on.
Well, apparently he can, because there have been absolutely zero ramifications for it.
Yeah. But that's okay. They got Ted DiBiase's son.
Well, you got him.
They got to get somebody. Let's get the son. Yeah,
he was the weak link in legacy anyway. So
they're like, yeah, we got to get. We got to say we punish somebody. Who are we gonna get? We're gonna get Ted DiBiase Jr. Yeah, that whatever. Yeah,
the son of the $1 million man.
We're gonna get him because we can't do anything to Brett Favre.
Howard is my adopted HBCU. Howard and Morgan State. My adopted HBCU.
Mine's Hillman.
Shout out Hillman. Shout out Hillman.
How old were you when you realized Hillman wasn't a real place?
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm not sure.
Same age I was when I realized Bayside wasn't a real high school.
Well, that's okay. That was about the week before last.
I'm just glad to know that back in the 80s, I was not the only kid who thought Georgetown was an HBCU.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, if I'm going to go to HB, I'll go to Georgetown. And I'm like, Bill Clinton went to Georgetown. Wow.
He really is the first black president. Man, that's
It's
crazy.
like, no, I'm like, it's not. I'm like, but look at yeah.
Georgetown,
They had
West Point.
Iverson. They had those jerseys with during Iverson this time. I'm like, oh, the best jerseys.
I absolutely thought Georgetown was an HBCU.
Oh,
when I was
And
young.
a lot of people did, which is looking back, it was crazy. See, hey, young kids, we didn't have internet like that back then.
No, when you were dumb, you just had to deal with it.
Yeah,
you
you're just like, hey, I
you were
don't know.
just stuck with it.
You got in your 20s, just just bad information.
That's it.